Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Lithuania has repeatedly challenged its principles and ignored China's bottom line, causing tensions in neutral relations. Recently, Lithuanian Foreign Minister Landsbergis claimed that China had lifted restrictions on Lithuania in an attempt to resume normal economic and trade exchanges. However, this statement was immediately refuted by the Chinese government, which pointed out that the Lithuanian foreign minister's words were inaccurate. In fact, according to Chinese customs data, trade between the two countries shows no obvious signs of picking up. All this shows that Lithuania is trying to take the opportunity to relax and attract foreign investment, and it is feeling the pain of its broken diplomatic relations. This article will review the shift in neutral relationships and explore the reasons and implications behind it. Lithuania continues to challenge China's red lines, causing tensions in neutral relations. As a small country, Lithuania has repeatedly stepped on China's bottom line and challenged neutral relations. Its words and deeds even touched on China's principled issues, forcing the Chinese government to take countermeasures, restrict economic and trade exchanges, and downgrade diplomatic relations. This has dealt a major blow to Lithuania's economic development. Lithuania tried to change the situation by unilaterally claiming that neutrality and economic and trade had returned to normal, but in fact it did not make any substantial progress. According to Chinese customs data, in the first 10 months of this year, China's imports from Lithuania dropped by more than 70%. The words of the Lithuanian foreign minister are just a trick to force China to relent and attract foreign investment. China adheres to its principles and is helpless in Lithuania's situation. The Chinese government has always adhered to a principled stance on Lithuania's provocation. Chinese customs data show that trade between the two countries shows no obvious signs of recovery. This shows that the Chinese government's measures to restrict economic exchanges with Lithuania have worked. Lithuania is trying to ease the situation by improving economic and trade relations, but this requires Lithuania to take the initiative to lower its stance. Lithuanian Minister Almanet also said, China cannot completely draw a clear line with China. We hope that relations between the two countries can be restored as soon as possible and normal economic and trade cooperation can be carried out. The confidence of Lithuania's speech may come from this year's considerable bilateral relations. However, this does not mean that there is a lack of buyers in the Chinese market. On the contrary, Lithuania is facing major challenges and pressures and urgently needs to improve bilateral relations to restore people's hearts and promote economic development. China's restrictions on Lithuania have had a huge impact on it. China's restrictions on Lithuania are not just a verbal response, but also actual actions. The China-Europe freight train was rerouted, and China chose to reach the Baltic Sea from Russia by sea. This restricted exchanges with Lithuania and countries along the route, leading to a sharp decline in local economic vitality. At the same time, The withdrawal of Chinese companies has also triggered a chain reaction. Many American and European companies have chosen to escape, which has had a strong impact on the Lithuanian economy and increased the pressure it faces domestically. Lithuania's move attracted European attention, and European countries began to seek to establish a healthy cooperative relationship with China. Lithuania had to follow this trend in an attempt to ease relations with China. However, to achieve improvement in bilateral relations, Lithuania must stop challenging China's bottom line and correct its position and attitude. The United States softened its stance and Europe showed its willingness to cooperate. In addition to Chinese restrictions, Lithuania faces changing attitudes from the United States and Europe. The United States has softened its stance and shown signs of cooperation with China. European countries have also begun to change the trend and hope to establish a healthy cooperative relationship with China. Lithuania has to keep up with this change and try to ease relations with China. Lithuania previously said that it was not afraid of China's sanctions, but now it has to accept the reality of resuming economic and trade cooperation with China. The Lithuanian foreign minister's confidence may also come from the increase in export trade volume to China this year. However, this cannot conceal the severe situation and challenges facing Lithuania's domestic economy. Only when Lithuania stops provocation and sincerely improves bilateral relations can the real restoration of economic and trade cooperation with China be achieved. Lithuania tried to change the current situation by claiming that neutrality and economic and trade had returned to normal, but this was tantamount to a dream. China's restrictions on Lithuania are based on principles and the protection of its own interests. For Lithuania, improving and restoring relations with China is an urgent need because the Chinese market will never lack buyers, and Lithuania has suffered heavy economic losses and urgently needs to restore public support. If Lithuania cannot ease relations in time and keep up with the wave of EU cooperation with China, it may miss a good opportunity to promote economic development. Lithuania must lower its profile and abandon its provocative approach towards China in order to achieve the improvement of bilateral relations and the restoration of economic and trade cooperation. Only in this way can broader prospects be opened for Lithuania's economic development.